Next on BYUSN, the always wonderful transfer portal giveth and it taketh away. What does Keelan, Marion, and Harrison Taggart entering the portal mean for BYU football? BYU TV analyst Blaine Fowler joins us to discuss Marion and Taggart entering the portal and who he expects to replace their production.
We spoke with linebacker Asialia Sarah on the cruise about how he feels about spring ball, how strong BYU's culture is, etc. And the unbelievable weekend for Cougar softball against Utah. They had how many walk-offs? Not one, not two, but three against Utah. Amazing.
Agbayani sends this one high and far. Cougars win! Are you kidding me?
There is no joke about it. Welcome to BYU Sports Nation, presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. Happy Monday, April 21st. I am Spencer Linton, alongside a man who is somewhat rested, a little more tan, and probably feeling really tired like me, Jarom Jordan.
I don't have the braids like my son got in Puerto Vallarta, but the last week, being on the cruise was amazing. I said it multiple times on the cruise, but it was a slice of heaven. Hanging out with my fam in fun locations, being around my aunt and uncle were on the cruise as well, my in-laws, like being with all these friends from BYU, good times, the panels, meeting people that I maybe hadn't met before, connecting with other people, being in cool locations. This is what I want heaven to be like, that experience. I mean, it was a little slice of that. If you didn't have a chance to go, if you can, in 2027 in the Caribbean, in the summer sometime, details still TBD. Try and do it because it was amazing. I don't know if I've had that much sort of fun and joy in a week before. I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't think anybody really knew what to expect because it had never been attempted before. But then you get on the boat and it is...
They told us it's a ship, right?
Sorry, you get on the ship.
Because I still call it a boat, but I
not a boat, even though there was a show called The Love Boat, and it was on a cruise ship.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Apparently, it is, yes, a ship. But when we got on the ship, it was like, okay, let's start to feel this out. What's this going to look like? The casino, not surprisingly, was very dead. But I do want to share this. Talked to several staff members and BYU fans who spoke to staff members as well.
Yep.
And said that the Royal Caribbean staff had never had a more enjoyable week working because the people were so nice.
Good. They were great.
And very complimentary.
They were great.
And hopefully not super demanding. But I thought that was a tribute
to
everybody
bars, they weren't.
that was on the ship, not the boat. Everybody that was on the ship.
I think Elder Holland said at one conference, right? Stay in the boat. Stay in the ship.
In this instance, yeah, stay in the ship. All rise and shout. Lots to discuss in What's Trending.
Keelan shoots a gap. There he goes. Touchdown. Keelan Marion. Throws intercepted. Harrison Taggart. It's caught. The 5. The touchdown. Keelan Marion.
What's Trending, presented by BYU Food to Go, the MVP of your next event. If you've been paying attention on social media, and many of you have, over the weekend, 2 big names from BYU football officially entered into the transfer portal, prompting a lot of head scratching and a lot of asking the question, why? Wide receiver Keelan Marion and linebacker Harrison Taggart both officially now portaling. What kind of impact does this have on BYU football, Jarom?
Is that the word we use now? Portaling? They're portaling. Always tough to lose a first-team All-American. That's what Keelan Marion was in kick return specifically.
Oh, it stinks.
He led BYU in all-purpose yards. He was a good receiver. He was a great returner. Had 5 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 2 kickoff returns, 1 receiving this last year. It's weird that he had more rushing and kickoff return touchdowns than receiving. But this is a guy that overall just very athletic, very quick. Explosiveness is what comes to mind when I think about what he did last year. That's tough. And then Harrison Taggart, you have a very good defense last year for BYU. You might argue great, right? 69 tackles, second on the team, 3 PBUs. He could get out in coverage. He could fill the hole and make a pop, tackle the Doak Walker Award winner, Ollie Gordon the second, in the backfield. Those kinds of plays. So that's tough as well. To me, these 2 departures, potential departures, although it sounds like Keelan's gone, TBD on Harrison Taggart. And we've seen guys come back before, so we'll see. That's a sign of success as opposed to some issue in the locker room to me. There are minimal to zero issues with BYU football's culture right now. It's going great. To me, when you win a lot, you will get an opportunity to perhaps get drafted if you may not have been, or maybe you get more NIL at the school you're at, or you look elsewhere and get a different opportunity.
There are other
depending
teams.
on what you want.
Yes, there are other teams that are watching what these players are doing. Welcome to college football and college sports free agency.
Is that not what BYU has done with Robert Wright III? Guy jumps in the portal. This guy was awesome last year. We would like you to play here. Would you like to play here? And you work it out. So it's going to be a loss to lose Keelan Marion. Hopefully BYU doesn't lose Harrison Taggart. If they do, we'll talk about who's behind these guys and what's there and how big of a loss is it. It's a big loss to lose Keelan Marion. It's a loss to lose Harrison Taggart. So it's a bummer, but you can't just get and never give. That's what the portal is. At some point, you lose players, and sometimes you get players. You certainly want that ratio to be a certain way, but we can't act like there's never going to be dudes jumping in the portal, or women, for that matter, in any sport. So it's a bummer, but welcome to anyone can transfer any season. These are not the highest profile athletes that have jumped into the portal and left before. Even at BYU, I would argue to this point, Shaylee Gonzalez is the best player that has left BYU. Went to Texas, had some great success, and so on and so forth. It is part of the game, but it is a bummer.
Amateurism is dead in collegiate sports.
What does that even mean? What's amateurism?
These are
high school sports? They can get paid now in high school.
High-level athletes. And as good as BYU was, and as immaculate as the culture is, and as just all of the good vibes, I know all of you are asking, but why? This doesn't happen. This isn't supposed to happen to BYU when they're coming off an 11-2 season and everything was good.
It's a sign of success.
Both these guys went all the way through spring football. I think the timing of it plays into why people are so disconcerted about this.
Tomorrow's the last day to
why
jump
did they
in
go through the entirety of spring football and then jump in?
Because someone may have reached out and said, we'll pay you X.
A lot of things are being discussed all the way through the spring. And in the world of collegiate athletes and college athletics now, you can have somebody enter the game late and say, hey, we really like you. We need you. We want you to be the guy, and we're going to pay you X.
Wait, isn't that tampering? Other people that aren't direct associated with
there are workarounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are workarounds.
Also, we don't know everything that one of these players want. Typically, we put on people our desires and they think the same thing we do about a given subject or prioritize the same things. That's not the case. We also don't know, just because you go 11-2 doesn't mean everything is super smooth. I think generally the culture of BYU is great. But there are individual desires and hopes and dreams and situations that are manifest individually. And we don't always know said reason. So to answer the question why,
what is it?
You'd have to hear from them.
It would be
have
reckless.
to tell you that.
It would be reckless for us to speak for these athletes.
Unless they gave us permission to do so.
We're not,
and they have not.
in large part, going to do this. It could be any number of reasons.
Yeah.
Heck, we've seen players leave because they frankly wanted to be closer to home. They had family issues and they wanted to be home closer to help out.
Sure.
That factors into it.
That's not the case with Harrison Taggart.
It's not all about, everybody just points to, well, clearly he's just chasing money. You don't know that. Be fair to the athlete. We don't know that. It would be reckless for us to assume just that, it's just about the money. The culture's bad. There are so many different reasons that play into this. They might want to go play for a specific coach because they knew them, or I don't know. But what we're not going to do is focus on all of the different, well, what if it's this or what if it's this?
I don't blame someone if they do chase the money, by the way, because isn't that what most people do after college when they have a job?
Why did Dallin Hall leave?
People.
We love Dallin. We love Keelan. We love Harrison. These are really, really important pieces of BYU athletics last year.
Regardless of what the next step is, yeah.
We're going to cheer for them wherever they land. In Dallin's case, it's Virginia. Keelan's already been offered by the likes of Oklahoma and Arkansas and Miami and others.
Yeah, I'll cheer for them no matter what, unless they go to Utah. Then I won't cheer for them.
Which is totally fair.
Just saying.
What does this mean?
Love you, but
it means BYU's special teams take a step back. They probably go from an A to like a B or a B+ because they lose a really good piece.
And maybe Parker Kingston is the kickoff guy now. Maybe Cody Hagen's the kickoff guy.
They can still be really good. Kelly Papinga is still an awesome special teams coordinator and will line things up for whoever is filling the shoes of Keelan Marion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And BYU's linebacker depth takes a hit. What does it mean? Yeah, they take a hit. But now the opportunity arises for others to step up and take their places.
That's the #1 phrase associated with anytime.
Next man up.
Step up. It
Next
was a
man up.
mediocre movie. So, who do you expect to replace the production of Keelan Marion and Harrison Taggart?
What's interesting about this is, and maybe you disagree with me, but I believe that these are the two deepest position groups on the entire team, the wide receivers and the linebackers. The secondary has a case.
I think safety's pretty deep.
Secondary has a case.
Yeah.
As far as the wide receivers go, Tay Nakua had an outstanding spring ball, so maybe
what's the last name you just said?
Another Nakua. Maybe there is an opportunity for Tay to step up. You already mentioned Cody Hagen. BYU's coaches love the mid-year enrollee, LaMason Waller. They think his athleticism is elite, and we don't use that in vain. That's a coach's word right there. Chase Roberts might get more targets, Jarom. Not a terrible thing.
Not a bad thing.
If he gets more catches and more footballs thrown his way, so be it. Parker Kingston has gone to another level as well.
To me, Chase Roberts is a potential top 10 receiver in BYU history when he walks out of here.
Absolutely.
Like, he's shown us he can be that guy.
What do you expect, or who do you expect? I expect Chase Roberts to get the majority or at least a significant uptick in footballs thrown his direction with a guy like Keelan Marion leaving. There will be others that replace the production.
But you do look at that graphic that we showed a minute ago. You have 3 dudes that have caught a combined 2 balls. So it's Chase, Parker, and the boys, right? So back to this one. Good job by our production crew listening to me. I appreciate it. Tay, Cody, LaMason, they haven't had a lot of catches, right? But we're excited about them. So it falls on Chase and Parker to do a lot of the work there.
Yes, and I know that the graphic is showing JoJo Phillips. We don't know what his role will be.
And JoJo.
Right? We don't know what his role will be. Yeah. Perhaps he's a guy that could step up. Now that Keelan is gone,
and I would point. Sorry, finish.
There's more of an opportunity for a guy like that to go and get it. But let's not kid ourselves. All of these receivers, they're all being pursued by other schools too.
Yes, the portal closes tomorrow. It doesn't mean you have to sign with anybody by tomorrow. It means you have to be in it. But tomorrow's the last day to jump in.
I hope nobody else jumps in.
I hope no one does, but let's be honest. There's a probability or a possibility that somebody does. Should an opportunity be there. I also wonder, Spence, if BYU's kind of done in the haggle game. Oh, I'm jumping in here because I want to sort of leverage myself. It didn't work out successfully for Cody Epps. Did that, came back, didn't really produce, kind of in and out with some injuries. I wonder how BYU feels about sort of that idea of like, are they, okay, if you do that, you're just done.
You're in or you're out, just straight up.
I'm just asking the question. I'm just wondering. I'm not hinting at anything. I'm just wondering. So it sounds like Marion's gone. We'll see what Taggart does. But relative to, you covered wide receivers really well. Linebackers, let's talk about it. So the middle linebackers specifically behind Harrison Taggart. You got Ace Kafusi, a guy who had 10 tackles last year, third-year guy. Naki Tuakoi, very excited about him. Big-time recruit who redshirted last year, heavily recruited. Notre Dame, Oregon, Tennessee, they all wanted this kid. Future's bright with him. Tyler Payne had 352 tackles in high school. That's Matt Payne's son. He was a freshman.
Yeah, that's a name we haven't heard a ton about.
Top 10 guy in Utah. Now, he's the most inexperienced of those 3, has not been in the program until this year, right? So those are your 3 middles. And then you look at the others, obviously Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker. But Siale Acera is the guy who will replace Harrison Taggart, we think. I wonder if the upside for Siale is high enough to where we're actually pretty excited about the opportunity for Siale Acera. We saw the pick against TCU 2 years ago. We saw him play later in the season, coming off an injury. He was on the ship, the cruise. We got to hang out with him quite a bit.
He got after Colorado in the Alamo Bowl.
He is a big dude. He is a bigger dude. Like, he has NFL size. We'll see if he has the speed. Like, we're excited about Ciale. So
he has added muscle, and he
Yes.
has leaned down, and he's still a massive human being.
Isera, Kafusi, Ace, Tuakoi, Payne. There's your 4 middles that you're looking at. And, of course, we like the outside backers and what they bring. I think linebackers are loaded. If Taggart does, in fact, leave, Ciale, Isera, it's his job to lose, it would appear.
Just head-to-head, as good and as consistent and physical as Harrison Taggart was for BYU, I do feel like the ceiling for a guy like Ciale Isera is higher. Just his innate athleticism and what the coaches are going to ask him to do, I feel like his ceiling is higher. Again, this is nothing against Harrison. Harrison was awesome.
He was very good.
I love Harrison Taggart. I want him back.
I'd love for him to come back, too.
I want him to figure out a way to come back and be a huge part of BYU football in 2025. But if he does leave, I guess the coping mechanism in my mind is, well, this will allow Ciale Isera to start the ascension up to his ceiling, which I believe is higher.
We've seen enough to be excited.
He can get going on that fast track a little quicker, right? And now it's just like, you're the dude. So go be the guy. And I'm excited for Ciale.
And he had a good spring, apparently.
Yes,
so we're excited.
Yes.
We're excited.
He said as much to us in our interview, and all the coaches.
We're hearing outside of him, too. I like the source outside of the guy. I had a great spring.
Kalani,
of course you did.
Kalani, in fewer words, essentially, speaking of Ciale Isera, to me said, they don't know, but they about to find out. Okay?
Out of context.
Our question of the day, with Keelan, Marion, and Harrison Taggart entering the transfer portal, how would their departures impact BYU football? They haven't officially left yet, so we're still using the hypothetical.
Keeping that door open for them. Yeah.
How would their departures impact BYU football? At Jackson_Zumwalt on X says, off of vibes, this stinks, and 5 years ago, this could hurt our team. But in the year 2025, BYU is the deepest team I've seen since he was born. He says 2003.
I thought he meant the 03 team. I was like, no, they didn't make a bowl game.
So it hurts, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
The receiver room is deep. The linebacker room is deep, and I trust these coaches.
Yeah, and I get really annoyed when people use deep in vain, like walking into fall camp. Oh, so deep. It's like, well, do you have enough proven guys and enough like high-profile recruits to feel like that? We don't know what these guys are going to do when they have the opportunity, but we're excited to see them. So, yes, I do agree with that.
Yes. Again, the question, I just keep getting so many of my people in my circle. Why can't we just pay these guys? Why can't we just pay these guys? Just pay them. It is not that simple. It's
also,
not.
Yeah. Well, is it?
It isn't.
If you have the funds, you just pay them. It feels like a simple thing. You just got to find enough money, I guess. I don't know. Okay, what's better than one walk-off to beat Utah? It's 2 walk-offs. That's the answer. BYU actually had 3. Let's talk about it. Thursday, extra inning comeback. Then Friday, BYU's down 9-1 in the 7th, which is the final inning, and then this happened.
Payoff pitch. Agbayani sends this one high and far. Cougars win! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Thursday was a 14-13 comeback.
They were down 13-9.
When they were down, 12-7, 13-9. So which comeback was better, Thursday or Friday? And, oh, by the way, Saturday they were down. And then they 8-run ruled Utah for a walk-off.
They scored 9 runs in an inning on Saturday as well. They scored 9 runs in one inning in back-to-back games.
Amazing. Amazing.
The Friday win was better. Are you kidding me? In the words of Brandon Crow, who was calling the game, you're down 8-1. We're on the tarmac. I'm watching the game. I watched Utah score their 8th run. And I looked at my wife, Brittany, and I was like, ugh, bummer. And in our day and age,
get the kids settled in the seats.
It's unbelievable. We didn't have internet on a plane, but we didn't.
We did there, but not on the way home. I think that was plane specific. Yep.
No internet access on the way home, so I thought, okay, well, 8-1.
It's too bad.
They can win the series tomorrow if they just win Saturday's game. Okay, stinks to lose to Utah. We land.
And you're like,
like, no, this is last night's game they're talking about, right?
Huh?
This is last night's game. It says 10-8. Like, come on, they did it again? 9 runs? Special. And listen, Utah's a bad softball team this year. BYU needed to win all 3 of those games to maintain their RPI status, which is low 40s. Very, very important.
They made it a little dramatic without unnecessarily. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did it.
Which is better? It's got to be Friday.
Friday.
Although it is nice to 8-run rule somebody. Just be like, Sorry, we're going to end this early.
Yeah.
This is how bad this is.
They scored early.
Do you wish
Saturday.
there was an 8-run rule in baseball, college baseball?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Those can get a little.
Speed up the games.
Yep. Okay. Not in MLB, though. Not in MLB.
Softball not the only team in action over the weekend, doing good work. BYU men's volleyball also in that conversation. They wrap up the regular season this weekend, beating Pepperdine both matches at home.
Did it.
They earned the 3 seed in the MPSF tournament. Jarom, BYU has to win the MPSF tournament to get into the NCAA tournament.
Only 2 at-large. They're not going to get it.
What are your expectations for BYU in the approaching MPSF tournament?
They play Thursday in the quarterfinals, probably against Stanford or Menlo, a D2 team.
Win.
Then they would play. Brigham beat Stanford twice. Then they play USC. BYU went to 5 and lost in 3. They lost both against USC. That could be interesting.
Both on the road, though, yeah?
No, at home.
Oh, they were home.
Yeah. So I expect BYU to get to the semis, and then let's compete and see if we can't get to the final.
Can you make magic happen?
Me, personally? No.
On Friday.
You know me. The answer, though.
It would be fun to just get to the tournament final, and then it's like, hey.
It's one game.
One match to
probably
try and
against
get
UCLA,
into the tournament.
Who
One
just
match.
lost, by the way, on Saturday.
And BYU played UCLA tough as well.
19-17 was
so close
on the first
against both those teams. That's the beauty of tournament play. It's just one match. I love it.
Let's see if they can't get to Saturday.
All right.
Baseball plays at Utah Valley tonight, 8 Eastern Time on BYU Radio, ESPN+. Cougars won 9-3 last week in Provo, trying to do it again up in Orem.
After the break, dual threat analyst Uncle B, Blaine Fowler, is also off the ship. Not a boat, to discuss the impact of Keelan, Marion, and Harrison Taggart and their portaling scenario. This is BYU Sports Nation.